Heart2Start Fantasy Football Podcast, man. Bringing y'all the Week 7 recap. We doing it a little different tonight. Brody Cortez couldn't make it. It's his wifey's B-Day tonight. Happy birthday to Miss Cortez, Miss Brody
birthday.
Cortez. So, we're going to bring it on StreamYard tonight where we just kicking back, watching this Monday Night Football game. And, we're going to talk a little shit, swallow some spit. It's your boy Heart2Start Kev from the Heart2Start Fantasy Podcast. You know where you at, so I ain't got to keep saying that. JD, talk to me.
What's happening, y'all? Guccini JD, man. AKA Heart2Start JD, man. Broadcasting live and direct from the Heart2Start studio, man. Trying to break down this motherfucking Week 7 and, jump y'all into Week 8.
Hey, shout out to the Rum Boys, Robbie. Shout out to Bogart. They came through on Saturday episode of the Swiver Swerve, which is why not me, my cousin, he on a 2-day hangover right now. We was in this motherfucker getting drunk, throwing shots back, having a good old time, you know what I mean? So,
man, I slither, y'all. It take me 2 days to bounce back, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. 100%.
But you back, hey, and you here giving the people what they need, so they gonna respect it for sure. You know what I mean? They gonna respect it.
And just like we respect you niggas for tapping in, man, and fucking with us, bro.
How you do this week in your leagues? How you feeling?
One of them, one of the home leagues, I still got action. One of the other home leagues, shout out to Reg, he with me.
I'm all right. The ALB the one that matters. You still hold on right now. Robert Woods, as long as he don't do too much, you'll still be 5-2. I'm trying to catch you.
Sluggish right now. This game is a ugly game right now. This Chicago and Rams game.
Last week when y'all seen us, Brody Cortez was on his high horse about the league. He came back and put up like 160 again. So he really, really, really feeling himself now. You know what I mean? Which I can't even be bad, man. I'm bad though. I wanted to stay there. You know what I mean? But shit. It is what it is. Well, look, let's jump into the first game that happened this week, which was a Thursday night game with the Giants and the Eagles. Eagles pulled it off 22-21. Danny Dimes in that game, 20 for 30, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Was that the game where he fell when he was running? Oh, my God, bro. Hey, what about homies fell like that running from the police back in his juvenile days? He said he shook him, he was gone, and then his legs just gave out. That's what happened to that boy. That shit was so funny, bro. I was dying.
That boy could have had a 90-yarder, though, bro.
90-yard, and they lose by 1.
Even though they scored on that drive, though, I'm sitting there with the wifey watching it. I'm like, babe, they not going to score after that. And sure enough, I think they got bailed out, got to the little 2-3 yard line somehow, some way. I forgot who punched it in, but they
Gallman.
Gallman is who punched it in on that.
Gallman punched it in. We definitely gonna talk about wire picks, and he is probably at the top of the list right now with Freeman banged up again and him being the pass catching running back. He had 10 for 34 with a touchdown, but in the passing game he caught 5 catches for only 20 yards. But that's 5 catches. That's if you play PPR, that's good money. Sterling Shepard came back for his first game, 6 catches for 59 yards and a TD. Evan Ingram still only 10 points, fantasy points for you, which ain't bad right now.
He had a bad drop that game, too.
Bad drop. And he's known for dropping, though.
But he still had them 9 targets, so Dimes is looking for him. He's just not able to put it together like how his rookie season when he first came into the league ball and second year had the little injuries and whatnot. But he got the potential. He got the talent. You know what I mean? For some reason, he's just not putting it together this year, man.
Yeah.
On everything.
Like I said, Shepard came back. Slayton with only 2 for 23. They was already saying that was a tough matchup. I got Slayton in 2 leagues, and I did bench him. Like, I had the heart to not start Slayton this week, even though he's one of my better receivers. And with Golden Tate coming back, he had a touchdown. I mean, Sterling Shepard coming back. Still got Ingram. It's just not for sure with Slayton. He has a nice ceiling, but his floor will be single digits. You know what I mean? And he's going to give you probably more single digit games than he is. And I'm a big Slayton fan, but that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? If you have Slayton starting, you should be strong at running back, and that's just one of your weaker positions that you're playing. You know what I mean?
Heavy.
You went.
stupid heavy, and hope he was getting that dart throw on the in the late rounds, hoping that he'll hit like how he hit last year. But he came on strong at the end of last year. That's what that was. And motherfuckers got that recency bias from the end of the season of where he hit for them eight TDs quickly, and was able to have some fantasy value. But my thing over there on that Thursday night game is last week when we talked about Miles Sanders getting hurt. He asked me would I fire up Boston Scott right then and there for that Thursday night game, and I know I said it. I don't know if these fools was talking about it,
I
but yeah,
started it.
on everything. He was a hell of a plug and play for that Thursday night. And you know how them Thursday night games be uglier than a motherfucker, you know what I mean? So, just for you to have Miles Sanders on the bench, and if you was able to go get Boston Scott, that was a hell of a plug and play right there on everything.
See, he kind of got saved at the end with that touchdown though, because
Right.
it was going to be a single digit game. But so what? It don't matter when it happened. It could have happened at the beginning of the game. And it's funny because Trayvon, our cousin TP, shout out to TP, he was like, I've been watching y'all shit, cousin. He's like, y'all said that Boston Sky, and I got Miles Sanders, and I played him, bro. That was big on Thursday night.
Getting
That
some
was his
points
exact words. You feel me?
on
Like you
everything.
can't be scared, bro. You gotta have the heart to start. If you would have had the heart to start him over like a Jacobs, which I'm sure many people didn't, you know what I mean, or just whatever you might have did. Sometimes you gotta make the moves, bro, when them opportunities pop up, like a Geo, which we'll talk about in a minute. You know what I mean? But Carson Wentz, he bounced back with as far as fantasy wise. 34 points. He was at one of the top fantasy quarterbacks,
Man,
right?
no,
34.
Wentz was balling, bro.
25 for 43, 359, two touchdowns and an interception. You know what I mean? Fulgham still look like he good. Five catches for 73.
On
I'm
11
liking Fulgham
targets,
right
though.
now.
He was getting it. He was that boy was looking his way for damn sure, bro. Oh my mama.
Greg Ward had a few big ones. You know what I mean? Deshaun Jackson, he's out for the season now, or at least on IR. Richard Rodgers came in with 6 for 85, and he just shows you that any tight end that's starting in that system is going to produce. So look for Goddard to come back and be one of those guys that's producing. And I wouldn't even be against maybe trade if you do make a trade and somebody has Ertz, maybe make them throw Ertz in there for you, and you could throw him on that IR spot because they forgot about him at this point. You know what I mean? What about We'll jump into the New Orleans and Carolina. New Orleans won 27-24. That was a good game right there.
Bro, you think Carolina will come in with a little bit more urgency to try and win that motherfucker, especially with them still being in the running for it. But this putting them to what 3-4 right now, even though they're not completely out of it. But fucking DJ Moore, that's back to back games where he scored. I don't think he had two touchdowns last week. I know he had one for sure last week, but this one where he hit for I think a 70-yarder and then double back with another one. That shows some high hopes in the motherfuckers that drafted DJ because they drafted him third, fourth, maybe fifth round. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? And to see that production, a lot of motherfuckers might have jumped off his train and shipped his ass up out of there. But for the motherfucker that was able to go get him, or for the motherfucker that held on to him, the last 2 weeks, he's producing for your motherfucking ass. That's for
Bro, I
damn
haven't
sure.
started DJ Moore in 3 weeks, bro. G called me. Shout out to the homie G, the commish. He called me and said, "Bro, you haven't played your third round pick in 3 weeks." I said, "I wait for a better matchup. I'm deep." He said, "When is it ever gonna be a good matchup?"
Right.
I'm firing him up now. We was on Swiver Swerve and we talked about him, and I said I would go get DJ Moore right now if I could. You feel me? I think I
Yeah.
was maybe one of the few that said you can get him low right now. DJ Moore, like I said it on the Swiver Swerve. I said Robbie Anderson is easier for a quarterback because he's going to win a lot of one-on-one matchups when you throw it up to him. DJ Moore is somebody you got to scheme and you got to have chemistry because he's just not going to just, you know what I mean, outdo somebody like a Robbie Anderson. So DJ Moore is somebody to like you said, 2 touchdowns, 93 yards, 4 catches. I think he's gonna keep it going with like 15 points a week minimum. Like I think that will be him. And don't be afraid of Robbie Anderson. He's gonna stay. Yeah, he still has 74 yards, 6 catches. They have a great matchup against Atlanta coming up next week. And I'm actually lucky in my league. I have Kyler Murray going on a bye, and I don't have another quarterback. But Bridgewater is out there, and they play
Right.
Atlanta, and I have the number 4 pick, and people ahead of me do not need a quarterback, so there's no way they're going to grab him. You know what I mean? So I'm firing him up. I mean, even Teddy B, he had a cool game, 23 for 28, which is really efficient, but it was a lot of little short intermediate passes, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, Teddy B he's just what he is. You know what I mean? And my thing is if I could keep Teddy B and barring an injury, I don't want an injury, but if it happens, I wouldn't feel bad about having Teddy B the rest of the way because he's also getting McCaffrey back, and he's doing this without McCaffrey. There's no way McCaffrey's not going to help him.
No, that's for sure. McCaffrey's going to help everybody.
Mike Davis, he's falling off the wagon. We know his time is coming.
That's because he knows his time coming
He
too.
knows
That's
his time.
why.
They say he was banged up a little bit too, but his big thing is the catches. He only had 24 yards with 5 catches. You know, the rushing wasn't there. 7 rushes for 12 yards. This is my thing with Mike Davis. So I was having a talk with Wood, one of the homies in our league, and I'm telling him, he's like, you're going to drop Mike Davis. He got CMC. I'm like, bro, you might as well take Mike Davis from me because you're getting CMC back. He like, no, you're going to drop Mike Davis. I said, no, I'm not, bro. There's plenty of people that have been rostering Edmonds like me. I don't have Drake, or rostering Snell, or rostering these high-powered backups that could handle the workload. Why would I drop Mike Davis?
Right.
I'm going to hold him. There's no point. He's like, well, I'm banking on you dropping him. I'm like, well, you shouldn't bank on it. But if you want to trade for him right now and secure your season, because if even if you is balling, if you CMC end up getting held out or he get hurt a little bit, secure the cuff, bro. Got to secure the cuff. What we talked about last week.
Nigga, the cuffing season, my nigga.
Cuffing season, bro.
Everything. Nah, real talk. No, I agree with that, you know, but just in the league that he has CMC, and, you know, he's on his high horse. He running shit over there. So, you know, he feel like he can lose CMC and still be the number 1 team.
Like he's doing.
You know, like he's doing right now, you know. And like he said, you know, the nigga might have to drop him just based on, you know, bodies drop like flies. And this shit, man, every week we seen it. You know, just like OBJ, nigga, he's done for the year. You know, the bodies drop, and somebody stepped up and balled out in his place. We'll get there in a second, you know. But my thing is that Robbie Anderson is continuing his motherfucking pace. He's top 5 in receiving yards right now, you know, and he's had bad luck his first couple of seasons in New York, you know. So here he is, you know, showing like that late pick, you know, that helped carrying my motherfucking ass for that. That's for damn sure, you know. And just to see CMC come back and that offense get that lift, you know, like I said, they still lightweight in it, you know. But even, you know, Tampa, I think they only 5-2. I think New Orleans is 5-2, you know. So they 4-2. So, you know, here it is right now, bro. They, you know, still in the mist, you know. A lot of shit can happen, but, you know.
Shit, even on that side of it, Drew Brees, 29 for 36, 287, 2 touchdowns. His receivers were Marquez Callaway, Alvin Kamara, Traquan Smith, Deontay Harris, Jared Cook. He was throwing to a little bit of everybody. You know what I mean? Cook with a touchdown, Deontay Harris with a touchdown. He's just getting it done with whoever is there. You know what I mean? Trade rumors don't matter. He's just gonna do what he got to do.
Happen on everything. And he's talking about Callaway. Callaway led the team in targets. So for some reason, Drew Brees had that, you know, that familiarity with him to go his way. You know, whether it be that corner that was guarding him or the way that they had him lined up, wherever they had him lined up at, he was that guy. Everything. That's big. That's saying a lot though. Especially for not Kamara to lead the way, because we seen Kamara earlier this year hit for like 10 receptions and $1.15.
He had 8 with 65. His rushing was good this week though, 14 for 83.
Nah, he had a hell of a day for sure. But just to see Breeze spread that bitch around and for them to be able to pull out that win against a division opponent, you know what I mean? That was a lot of heart right there, you know, especially with the rumors of Mike Thomas swirling around and shit like that, you know?
Facts.
That's fucked up.
Facts. Let's talk about the Buffalo and the Jets. Buffalo 18, Jets 10. What stands out about that game to you?
My OG partner, Frank Gordon. doing it. He didn't do a lot, but he did, a nice little something, just to see him at 37, 38. And I remember watching him and nigga in 2009, 2010, and here it is 11 years later. I think Frank Gore got drafted in '05 or something like that, just to see him go for 10 carries and 60 yards or whatever. I think that's what it
11,
was
11 for 60.
on everything. My OG partner, we Niner fans over here, so to see him do his thing, you know what I mean? I mean, that's probably the only person. Oh, to see Denzel Mims come back and have a slight game, but
But Perrine had 11 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. He had a nice little touchdown. Perrine is definitely somebody, if he's on the wire, you should have him by now. He shouldn't be on the wire, though. Not in this age when, when there was reports earlier in the week that they were going to use him more. Darnold came back in, only 120 yards, 2 interceptions. Mims, like you said, he had 42 yards, but you just really can't trust it over there. They didn't have Crowder, but on that side, it's scary. But one thing that stood out to me, which you brought to my attention, was the Bills didn't have an offensive touchdown this game.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Josh Allen, 30 for 43, 307 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He rushed for 61 yards.
Shit, he had the most rushing attempts out of everybody.
He did.
Out of Zach Moss and Devin Singletary.
And Zach Moss, he had one less carry than Devin Singletary, but 47 yards on seven runs. They're definitely. It seemed like they really don't care too much about Singletary like that. Moss had 3 catches for 25, Singletary 2 for 18. Like they were using Zach Moss a little bit more. Singletary ain't really been getting it done, I guess.
It seemed like they lightweight fizzling out, coming from that Tennessee game that they played that Tuesday night, I think it was.
Yeah.
It seemed like ever since that game, they lightweight then got their mojo stole. I don't know, bro. I mean, they was able to pull this win out on the road, but shit, bro. I mean, you had Cole Beasley was super efficient, 11 receptions on 12 targets for $1.12.
Everything.
Stephon Diggs, he was kind of quiet.
11 targets. They just weren't connecting on a lot of the ones that they normally do. 11 targets, but 6 catches for 48. So it was kind of ugly. The Jets was playing hard. They was playing like they ain't just laying down. You know what I mean?
But they was playing like they wasn't an 0-17.
They're terrible, man. Bro. Shout out to Turn Up Jets, man. Sorry about y'all luck, man. He got some great.
Boy Joe.
He knows his shit though, for sure. Let's talk about the game.
Like in the SBI. Me and Joe. Turn Up the Jets. Yeah, I got him. I put up like 200 points in that league this week. Finally.
I think I did too, like 220 or something. Cleveland and Cincinnati. Well, we know the biggest story in this game was OBJ, man, tearing his ACL.
Yeah, that hurts.
I didn't even know it was like that. That was crazy. It didn't even look like that's what happened. That hurts, man, for him. You know what I mean?
Especially for them to have the type of game that they had, and able to pull that win out and still be in the playoff running too, though, bro. They 5-2. I think they 5-2, bro. That's what, and them getting written off and Baker being trash and woo this and him having to hear that going all this week. They're got the highlights right there on everything. Look at Baker throwing
22 for 28, 297 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Throwing game winners, bro. That's brazy.
I will say this, though. With Cincinnati is who we thought they were. But like Kurt said, he said, damn, OBJ gets hurt and Baker throws for 5 touchdowns. Like he just spreading the ball. Rashard Higgins, 6 catches for 110 yards. Harrison Bryant, 4 for 56 and 2 touchdowns. Your boy Donovan Peoples-Jones, touchdown, 3 catches. So Landry, 5 for 48. Hunt, 3 for 26 and a touchdown. And Njoku caught a touchdown. Like maybe Baker is gonna be able to just spread it around and not worry about if he feeding OBJ enough, bro. That might be something that changes the whole dynamic. Not saying they gonna pass more, but just along the lines of maybe trusting Baker. You know what I mean? Not being so scared of him like we were before.
And he only had to throw for 28 times. That's the cold thing. It wasn't like his counterpart having to throw for almost 50 times. And and he only missed 12 passes. and threw for 406. But the way that Baker was efficient, he had one pick. So if he one of them incompletions wasn't that pick, he would have been 23 for 28, bro, with 5 touch. That's the thing right there on everything. Baker looked good. I didn't get a chance to see that game yesterday, but he put on a nice little clinic, bro. Even though it was the 1-5-1 Bengals, you know what I mean. But it's a divisional game. We getting into these divisional games, bro, and just like how we was just talking about the Jets and the Bills, where it's a 18-10 game, and they didn't have not one offensive score, one TD score. You know what I mean? It's that shit crazy. These divisional games where y'all know each other, y'all coming out like Tyson and Holyfield, just ain't biting on no ears. So I shout out to Baker, man, for handling his motherfucking business, bro.
Hey, shout out to the fantasy fornicator. He in the chat right now. The Bears, Brews and Bros. Y'all definitely go check them out and subscribe to them. I listen to them every week. Hey, he said Renegade is still legit still crying right now about OBJ. Hey, Renegade he put the whole house on OBJ. It's like he bet the whole house on the field. Like, let me just hey, we gonna see,
hurts.
man.
And I traded for OBJ my damn self. Real talk. I gave up Singletary for that boy, but Singletary ain't been doing that neither. But I mean, to have that commodity, still. He's still a lightweight commodity.
Hey, you see the report that Kareem Hunt, they talking about he might come back out there to buy. So I think they gonna lean. They was already leaning on the run for sure, but it's that game
Chubb coming back.
That team Chubb coming back. That team might end up being a lot better. Let's talk about Joe Burrow on the flip side. 35 for 47, 406 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He looked good. Hey, and he loves his receivers. He's throwing that ball, bro. He's targeting everybody. Tyler Boyd, 11 catches for 101 with 1 TD. AJ Green, 7 for 82. T. Higgins, 5 for 71 and a touchdown. T. Higgins, AJ Green, and Tyler Boyd, it's crazy because you could really start all of them.
They had 31 targets between them three.
Bruh, I was watching that game on the computer. Usually how I do, I have the red zone set up on the TV, and then I had like 2 or 3 games on my computer on little screens. So I was watching that game, and it like every drive. Well, obviously I'm biased because I got Boyd, but he was targeting Boyd like back to back, 2 out of 3 passes. You know what I mean? Like, and Higgins
was
too.
Ward
like,
on him? Was Denzel Ward on him?
It was a few times, but he moves around a little bit, bruh. Burrow looks good, but I will say this: his schedule is so bad when it comes to Baltimore and the Steelers and some few other ones late in the season. Burrow is somebody you could probably sell high on, somebody that might need a quarterback. Maybe they're banking on, a Minshew, or they lost Dak or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, but Burrow's not who you want to bank it. Be having a heart to start over. You know
but the passing volume is gonna be there no matter what, because that's what they doing though. They gonna have to do that in order for them to stay highly competitive in any game, in which they was competitive in this game. They lost on the last second touchdown.
Gio came with the 5 for the 59 and a touchdown on the catches, 13 for 37. Hey, I want to tell you something that's crazy this week. So we talk about handcuffs. You talked about handcuffs. We talked about just stashing players at those winter backs. You know what I mean? When the cold weather. So the number 1 running back this week, the number 5, the number 6, the number 7, the number 10 running back this week. That's 4 out of the top 10 were all players either off the wire or on somebody's bench, and they probably haven't started them all year. Like backups: Jamal Williams, Jeff Wilson, you know what I mean? Edmonds, Gio, Scott. You gotta get those running backs when you wasting a roster spot on 2 defenses, or you know what I mean, you playing the matchups and you don't want to drop anybody, man, you better go get those backups, man, because that's what's gonna come through when it's sometimes you need it, bro.
You seen it with Williams, you seen it with Gio, you seen it with Chase Edmonds, bro. I mean, it's that seasoning, bro. I mean, this is a contact sport, bro. Bodies drop like flies, bro. Especially at that running back position, they get hit the most, bro. Everything. It's hard to bank your season on that one guy, and then especially if he got that capable guy behind him to go ahead and fill fill that spot and really take over that spot, because that's what that backup really want to do, is take your spot. I know they on the same team and shit like that, but he gotta pay his family too. He looking for that next payday, just like how the guy in front of him looking. So if he go down and he got to step up, that's what he gonna do. And we just seen it right now, bro. Especially with Edmonds and Jamal Williams on everything, bro.
Let's talk about that. Washington and Dallas. Shout out to Robbie, man. His team got a win this week, 25-3. Cowboys is, oh my God. Oh man. Dalton leads the game, 9 for 19, 75 yards.
Crazy.
Zeke 12 for 45. You know, his one reception for 6 yards. Amari on the catching end, 7 for 80. You know, the backup, Ben DiNucci.
He sound like a name out of The Godfather.
Hey, he one of the Sopranos.
On everything, bro.
We ain't talking about the Black Soprano family. Shout out to Benny the Butcher, man. I've been slapping that legend lately. That motherfucker crazy.
Man, it's time to sell all your Cowboys.
It's time to sell your Cowboys. Hey, listen. It's time to solicit your Cowboys. Not sell them. Solicit them, bro. Tap in with everybody in your league. I'll figure out what you want from everybody. You know what I mean? And it's time to get value of Zeke's name, Amari's name. CD, it's over. Gallup, it's over. It's a crapshoot. Amari's the only one that's probably going to produce regularly, but it's not going to be pretty. And what is Belushi going to do? Belushi. What's his name?
Belushi out here in Northern California, that's what you don't want to fuck with. That's gonna have you on one, and we not go. That's might be going a little too much in depth.
Griselda Records, give me buddy. Okay, Bogart, I see you. Hey, the Redskins though. I'll beat up. My bad. The Washington team,
the WFT,
the team,
Washington football team.
Kyle Allen, 15 for 25, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hey, I said on Bogart's show that I thought that the GMM network that Gibson was going to have a big game because it's been a few weeks and he was maybe the toe injury was kind of banging him up a little bit. And he had a good game. 20 carries.
Who doesn't have a good game against Dallas?
I mean, but 20 carries for 128 yards and a touchdown. You know what I mean? He was definitely doing. This wasn't a game where they had to use McKissick, but Gibson would look nice.
Yeah, he had a 70-yarder, I think. He had a big one, that's for sure. That's what saved him. But, I was down on Gibson. I kept telling you boys to get rid of his motherfucking ass, and he finally popped off for you. Shit, I think with that motherfucking with that win though, if the Eagles didn't have no tie, that'd be the football team would be first place in the division. They got action right now, bro. On my mama, they do. Real talk. So they might be trying to do something right now. Look at a 6-10 team out of the East is gonna win that division, bro. And the 49ers might be 10-6 and won't even get in because that bum ass division winner is gonna get in, bro. Oh my mama. Real talk. But my thing is that Gibson finally did his thing. McLaurin caught a big one. Other than that, it really wasn't too much fantasy wise on this game. Right?
McLaurin caught a big one. But he also got tackled on the one where he stretched out and tried to get it. So he could have had a much bigger day than he did. But he did for sure. You know what I mean? But, McKissick, I think McKissick is somebody that people are probably going to drop because he only had 5. But this wasn't a game where they needed him when you got Gibson running like that and they weren't even down. Like, Dallas wasn't even putting up a fight. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They didn't have to use him like that. So I would hold on to him just because. But, it is the Gibson show over there. And, I mean, scary, like you said, Scary Terry with the 7 for 90 and the touchdown. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean,
he's Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas with the 4 for 60 and a touchdown. Yeah. But remember, we talked about McLaurin on the Swiver Swerve, and we talked about how his floor to me was 14 or 15. That's kind of what he's giving you. He's a safe 14 or 15 with an occasional 24 or 25, what he did.
Yeah.
When the end of the season goes, I think he's still going to be up there for sure. I fuck with that boy. that next game, man. But shout out to Bogart, man. Shout
What's
out to
up, big
Kaya
bro?
Sheldon. What did it say? Hey, that's this season is crazy though. Like I said, get your handcuffs for real. If
Gotta
we
get your
tell you
cup.
anything, get them right now.
Bogey, I'm still suffering from Saturday, bro. No lie, bro. Oh my mama.
On what?
Nigga, that motherfucking Coraleo and that motherfucking I forgot what beers I was drinking. That motherfucking Lagunitas.
You was on one that night was popping. Hey, on the flip side, right? Let's go to the Green Bay 35, Houston 20. The Vontae Adams show
Bro.
and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had 0 last week and negative in some points. So I know for sure some owners were scared of what he did. You know what I mean? Hey, Fornicator said them Lagunitas is the shit, boy.
Bro, that shit, them clusters had me slithered, brody. Oh
Hey,
my
Aaron
mama.
Rodgers, 23 for 34. We are live on this show right now for our YouTube listeners and our Spotify and iTunes. We are doing it a little different this week. Like we said, shout out to Brody Cortez. He couldn't make it. And you will hear us saying random stuff, and that's from the chat on the YouTube. You can go over and check out our YouTube page and watch this video on Heart2Start Fantasy Podcast. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers with the 23 for 34, 283 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like we said, Jamal Williams was a plug and play guy, 19 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown. I seen a lot of people picking AJ Dillon up.
Yeah, I did too.
You know what I
bro.
mean?
Noticed that.
Whether they play, shout out to Zach. That boy played AJ Dillon. I was like, over Gio, you crazy. Devontae Adams, like we said, 13 catches for 196 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, you heard what he said after the show? He said they knew who the ball was going to. It's just nothing they could do. You know what I mean? Something along the lines of that
I
shit.
don't even know why they had the one boy on him on that second TD, bro. He just completely lost Devontae.
They were Houston is we have a problem.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, Houston, we have a problem. On the Texans side, you got Deshaun Watson with the 29 for 39, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, David Johnson, the rushing wasn't there. 14 carries for 42 yards, 4 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. So that saved him. He had 16 fantasy points. But my thing with David Johnson is, like I keep saying, he's like last year's Le'Veon Bell. Depending on how your team is constructed, he's going to get you a minimum, to me, of 12 points.
Yeah, you definitely need that, especially if all your other positions is booming. Your number one running back, your number two running back, and he's your fucking flex, or if he's your number two running back and you got 3 wide receivers that's killing that, you got your 1, 2, and your flex. You know what I mean? You can start him every week. That's for sure. His motherfucking ass is on the bye this week, and I got to take him out. I sure need him him and Chase Edmonds. I got both of them in one league with Miles Sanders on the hurt in the IR spot. So
you better take it at L. What league is that?
The Ashy.
Ooh, it's ugly. You got to trade. I got some running backs for you over here. Come get Gio for the low. It's good. We'll talk after this for sure. Deshaun Watson, 29 for 39. Like I said, 309 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's going to be giving it to everybody, but I am worried about, or are you worried about them talking about they're possibly trading a receiver because everybody's up for grabs?
No, fuck it. They still got Fuller, they got Cobb, and they got Cooks. Who are they going to trade? And they still got Steals. One of them is going to boost somebody else's motherfucking production up, and the person that they trade, he's probably going to go to a motherfucking playoff contender. So that boy his value still going to be there. I know it takes a little time for the new receiver to get acquainted with the new system and the new quarterback. That PS5 look clean, y'all. My bad, but yeah, I ain't worried about one of them getting traded, and they gonna be down every game, so they gonna have to throw.
Fact.
They're horrible.
They're throwing the ball. We know that for sure. Like I said,
Will Fuller ain't going nowhere.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think they're gonna trade Fuller. That's gonna have to be nigga Brandon Cooks or Randall Cobb. Maybe
they worried about what he but
he
it
just
is
traded Hopkins with his other go-to guy. Fuller's the only guy that's been there for so long though, bro, and he's not hurt. Why ship him? I mean, they trying to build for the draft.
I don't know
But
what the
they
fuck
don't even got no number one pick still, I don't think, bro.
Nope.
They gave up number one pick for Tunsil.
Somebody go get it. Who is it?
Oh, man, that's
Miami. Oh, Miami finna eat.
Miami is in the running for their division.
They have
though.
Houston's pick.
I know, right?
Oh, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
let's talk about the next game. Detroit 23, Atlanta 22. Bro, this game was so funny, bro. Gurley, how you don't fall, bro? For fantasy owners, they was loving it, bro. Like, oh, he gonna fall because he said last year he played Detroit and they did the same thing, bro. He fell into the end zone. I'm like, this shit is so funny. Anybody who got Gurley, if you won this week because of that shit, you loving it. But the Falcon fans, they probably loving that shit too. They like, fuck, we tanking for Trevor now. You know what I mean? We got Ridley. Bucket, take for Trevor. They happy that he did that shit. You know what I mean? That might be what really happened. You know what I mean?
Never know, bro.
Like, that shit crazy. But on the Falcon side though, you got Matt Ryan, 31 for 42, 338 yards, 1 touchdown. Gurley, 23 carries, 63 yards. 22 touchdowns. He still ain't really doing it like that.
Yeah, but he been scoring the last 3 to 4 games though. That's what's keeping him.
He had 2 touchdowns.
That's what's keeping him relevant, bro. Is him scoring them TDs though, bro. And I forgot who keeps saying he keep vulturing boys, but that's what he is doing. He getting in there and he getting the TDs. That's big for especially if you got him in the 5th, 6th round. As your third running back, he's your fucking number 2 running back for sure right now, the way he's been producing for these last few games. Oh, my mama.
That's a fact.
That's
Julio, 8 for 97. Ridley, 5 for 69 and a touchdown. Hurst, 6 for 68. Even, you got the Russell Gages, Gurley with 2 catches. But you know what it's going to be. Julio and Ridley show.
It's a safety.
We know what it's going to be. You know what I mean? No matter what. Is that Montgomery with that ain't no safety. I was finna say out of here. But as long as Matt Ryan playing, and they said they're not planning on trading Matt Ryan and them, so that's a good thing for fantasy purposes for sure.
They're gonna trade him to the Cowboys. What the fuck? Why would you even trade for a quarterback right now? You're gonna have to pay a premium for Matt Ryan.
That shit crazy.
Especially if they get the top 5 pick. I mean, you might be able to trade him in at the whole another, season next season, but right now, no. Julio and Deion Jones and I can't even think of their top corner over there that they drafted. But I mean, damn, bro, that's fucked up. They just gonna have to ride it out, bro. You ain't trading Ridley. You just drafted Ridley 2 years ago.
No way they traded Ridley.
Oh my mama,
it would have been Matt Ryan, I think. Matthew Stafford on the other side, 25 for 36, 340 yards. He finally threw for some yards, but just 1 touchdown. So what is it like? We either gonna get touchdowns and no yards, or we gonna get yards and no touchdowns. You know what I mean?
That was a dogfight that game.
Hey, you know what, too? I'm glad they won though, but goddamn, bro, Swift, you still giving AP all these carries, bro. Like Swift had 9 carries for 27 yards and a touchdown. AP 11 for 29. Swift looked better at the goal line. They gave AP one after Swift scored in the goal line. The next time they got in the goal line, they gave it to AP. I just don't understand Patricia, but I guess he got to be loyal. Galladay with 114 yards, 6 catches, no touchdowns. Marvin Jones, 5 for 80. Amendola, 62. Hockenson got the game-winning touchdown, 5 for 59 and a touchdown.
Yeah,
Swift 4 catches, but we know what we're gonna get with Detroit players.
My thing with the AP thing is, and I'm gonna tell y'all, go back watch the first episode of this season, or it was the second episode. I said with them getting AP, he was only so many yards behind Barry Sanders, bro. I think it was Barry Sanders, bro, to break the record, and he's gonna do it in a Lions jersey or just surpass him to be a top 3. Top 4 running back. I'm pretty sure it was Barry Sanders. You can go back and go and check that, bro. On this shit, it's a fucking publicity stunt. Why did you just see Swift break out the way he broke out last week, and not want to get relinquished the full everything to him? Let him just be that guy that you drafted him to be. While you got OG back there, ain't nothing against OGs because I just shouted out Frank Gore, but when you got somebody like this behind Swift, I mean, there's no reason for y'all to not give him that full workload, especially with the game that he had last week. So I don't know what Patricia doing. He's probably playing himself out of a job anyways, especially if they would have lost this week. Oh, everything.
Yeah, I don't, they still fighting for Patricia, but they should have lost. Like, you know what I
Right,
mean?
100%, 100%. But the boy fell forward. Oh my mama.
That shit was funny as hell, bro. I'm like, he is not about to do that, bro. That shit. I was watching that game too. Let's get on the next one. This was one of the game of the week we talked about. Pittsburgh and Tennessee. Pittsburgh 27, Tennessee 24. Pittsburgh was on their ass most of the game, but Tennessee came back and made it a game.
Yeah, Tennessee wasn't trying to lay down. They both was undefeated going into this game. So I mean, a lot was riding on it as being the top dog in the AFC, especially with Kansas City having that little blemish on their shit. So, the only thing was is that they couldn't establish their run for the whole first half, damn
Oh,
near for the first 3 quarters, and that's what they offenses relied on. But I know going at half, I forgot who was calling the game. They was like, man, they might have to stop giving it to Henry and start going short passes and up tempo just to try and get back into this shit. Which they was able to get back into it, but motherfucking Henry was able to get his little score and his 70 something yards. But AJ Brown, though, him coming back for the last 2 games, I think it's 3 games now. He's showing why he was able to do what he was able to do last year, and which wasn't no fluke, because he's doing it now and missed 3 games.
yeah.
Real talk. So
Henry was getting stuff. He still got the TD. It was after they got like a turnover. You know what I mean? He ended up getting the TD. They got in good position. They actually got like a penalty called against the other team on third down where it looked like they might have had to take a field goal or go for it on fourth. But AJ Brown, he did what we thought he could do, but wasn't sure. 6 catches, 153 for a touchdown. But the big thing was, like we always say, he took a slant to the house for like 60 or 70 yards. You know what I mean? And he has that big play capability. This team, this Tennessee team, fantasy wise, besides Janu being banged up, and I am worried about him. We'll talk a little bit about him later. But man, I AJ Brown, Tannehill, obviously Henry, like you winning when you playing them. You know what I mean?
off
They got
top, I had AJ Brown in our preseason top 10. On my
yeah,
mama, I
me
had him as
too.
my top. No, you did not.
12. Him and DK. He
Yeah,
was
you
like
had
11. He
DK
was like
10.
11.
On my
He
mama,
was
I
11.
had I had AJ in my 10. On my mama, I shown the hell did just based on that efficiency that boy was able to put up with a super efficient quarterback, and that's what Tannehill is in that offense with that motherfucking King Henry. They just ran up against the motherfucking bullies of the AFC. What it looks like,
Bullies.
Pittsburgh looking like they the best team all the way around. They might give Kansas City. And the cold thing is, even though the Kansas City only got one loss, if the Kansas City got to go into Pittsburgh for that AFC championship or just an AFC playoff game, I think Pittsburgh
I
might got
like
action.
Pittsburgh.
Right
They
now, without a
always
doubt.
Pittsburgh always have a little shit going on
Reynolds.
where somebody hurt, Ben hurt, Connor hurt, where at the beginning of the year you might think it's Pittsburgh year. You know what I mean? But they don't put it together. They bring Minka in last year. Bush get hurt, but they still show you we go up against Henry, we still make it happen that front. You know what I mean?
TJ Watt. TJ Watt is looking like that next Watt. Well, he is that next Watt on everything that's making a name for itself. Him and Bud Dupree on them edges, boy, they coming in firing, bro. On my mama. Yeah, Pittsburgh got a hell of a team, bro, from top to bottom. And then I know some of the Claypool's owners might be mad just based on their performance, but you got to see Deontay Johnson, them first few games that Deontay was in there, he was leading the team in targets, and here it is, he come back this week and he go down, but look where he was at this week before he go down. So and Ben missed him right before the half too, though. If Ben would have put it a little bit more to the outside instead of the inside, he would have had another chance to get a touchdown, you know what I mean, before the half when he threw that pick. But, Deontay is looking like that guy for Ben, you know.
But you check on Deontay injury though, because he did leave the game again with the injury. But Big Ben, if anybody was worried about him throwing the ball, he threw the ball 49 times and they were up most of the game. So 32 for 49, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Connor, 20 for 82. On the receiving end, I knew Juju, this was a backup, a bounce back type game. 9 for 85. He could have had a touchdown. Deontay had the 2 touchdowns, 9 for 80. Even E. Brown with the 60 for 50. Big Ben going to spread it around a little bit, but like you said, Pittsburgh is something to be reckoned with. Shout out to Damo. Damo said this. I think Seattle. He said Seattle going to the Super Bowl. Seattle and the Steelers. I like the Steelers to beat KC, but it's going to be KC or the Steelers. And if Tom with all the weapons could get Seattle, that'd be the only way. But I think Seattle got something special, even without their defense being.
You know, a cold thing is though, Damo. You know who Big Ben got his first ring against? The motherfucking Seahawks, nigga, with not Trent Dilfer, Matt Hasselbeck, that quarterback, Sean Alexander. Oh my mama, I think Jerome Bettis, that was his last Super Bowl. I think that was his first Super Bowl. Oh my mama, he came back that year. Oh everything, I think that was Bettis' first Super Bowl. Real talk, that was Big Ben's second year, I think. Second or third year.
Yeah, they're definitely a team to be reckoned with. Let's jump into let's jump into Tampa Bay and the Raiders. Tampa 45-20.
Tampa.
Hey, Tampa Bay, man, with the AB. We heard the AB news. Everybody heard, regardless of what you think AB gonna do on the field, he's just another tool in Brady's arsenal
right,
that he can do what the fuck he wanna do. You know what I mean? Brady, 33 for 45, 369, 4 touchdowns. Fournette came in this game and took some from Rojo this game. Rojo, 13 carries, 34 yards and a touchdown. Fournette came with 11 carries, 50 yards, but he caught 6 balls for 47 yards.
Yeah, getting Fournette out there in space and him being such a big dude that he is, he's hard to deal with, big bruh. With them 70 catches that he had last year, him just showing that capability to do that, what he did yesterday, going down the stretch, they're going to have to get him involved 100%, more and more, because he can do damage. And then with the threat of those outside weapons, you're not going to be able to crowd that box, bro. On everything, you're going to have to respect Brady. I think that's so. Last week they played Green Bay. It was one game Brady had. Oh, it was a Chicago game. Shout out to my Bruce, Bears, and Bros. That he had a game, a Dudley, that game. But here it is, back-to-back games where he's showing you, age 40, 41, 42. I'll be 40 here in a minute. So shout out to my dog. Everybody know I fuck with Brady too. Shout out to him, man, for doing his motherfucking thing. Everything for sure. And here you got AB coming back next week. Not this week, next week, or eligible to play, I think, next week.
Hey, Mike Evans, if you ain't sold him already, good luck, bro. But you might want to get rid of him. The only good thing about him is it can't get no worse. If you've been riding with him, it can't get no worse. You hope it get better. You know what I mean? But with Brady spreading the ball around, Scott Miller, 6 catches for 109 yards and a touchdown. Godwin, 9 for 88 and a touchdown. Gronk, 5 for 62 and a touchdown. We said Fournette. Then at the bottom of that, Mike Evans, 2 catches for 37 yards. Brady don't need to just throw it up to Mike Evans. So he using all them other type players that could, the type of players we know Brady like. We was hoping it was going to be a Moss situation. And Brady is showing that he could throw that motherfucker deep. He putting it where it need to be, boy.
My thing is with Gronk, here it is for them first 6 weeks. Well, even last week he scored 2. So for the first 5 weeks, they was just telling him, look, bro, you didn't had a year off, a year and a half off. Go ahead, get your win back, get your reps up. And here it comes now. Here come the Gronk show, the CBD Gronk. Shout out to Milk and Honey, to my boy Bogart's motherfucking sponsor on everything. Real talk. That's probably what Gronk takes, niggas. Milk and Honey, niggas. CBD wellness. Oh my mama. He's ready to go for the stretch. That's his guy. You got Scotty and you got fucking Gronk. Them is the new white D's. D-Vevels. Oh, every day,
They
bro.
going to it for sure.
Oh, every day. He's back with them 8 targets. I'm telling you, bro. Here we go, Grunt.
Fire Brady up every chance you get, bro.
Yeah,
Like
from here on out,
he
bro, I think he is.
Brady, he started thinking about how people say he ain't this without Belichick, or he can't go to learn a new system this quick at this age. But Brady, he gonna be on some shit. He sees Aaron Rodgers over there doing what he want to do. If you think Brady ain't finna show y'all that he ready, y'all tripping, bro. Fire Brady up and try to go get him if you can. On the flip side, Derek Carr, 24 for 36, 284 and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jalen Richard was in the game a lot because they were down. You know what I mean? 7 for 24. Josh Jacobs, 10 for only 17 yards.
Yeah, that shit hurt with Jacobs, bro.
Passing game, he got 3 catches for only 14 yards, but he was completely out of the game plan.
And I told y'all to hold on to Jacobs just based on the volume that he's going to receive every week. But shit, I mean, Tampa, they say they're the best run defense there is, and I know they just traded from one of the boys from the Jets too to go ahead and go with Viata Vey and motherfucking JPP, and I can't even think about my boy from Denver that's been leading the league in sacks the last 2 years. I don't know if he's up there right now. I know he led it last year. I can't think of his name right now. He come from Denver. I got a few Bronco fans that's that's my rally, so they talk about his motherfucking ass. But yeah, though that Tampa defense is raw. They got Todd Bowles over there. Todd Bowles, when he got his job with the Jets, he come from the fucking Cardinals, bruh. And the Cardinals had a nice defense for a minute, bruh, on my mama. So, they putting the pieces over there together, bro. And the rich keep getting richer, bro. They just made an under-ass trade and made an under-ass signing. And they say that they been trying to work with that boy to get him in there. They just was keeping it under the wraps because they didn't want that shit to get out. So if Brady been vouching for that boy and he seen what he can do that little week that he had him on his team, and you ain't got Mike Evans doing what the fuck he need to be doing. And, and if you go back to our last year's shit, bro, the first 2 episodes before AB went off the Richter scale, I was vouching for him big, bro.
And I was like, he's gonna blow a nutty.
Yeah.
I said he gonna blow a nutty.
But that's my guy, though. I fuck with AB tough, bro. And, here it is. He's in his home state, bro, on everything, going to a 5-2 team. Oh my mama, is they 5-2? Yeah, they 5-2. They leading the division down there. Oh my mama, they're ready.
Hey, back to Josh Jacobs though. Don't worry about him. You know why? His schedule, the last 3 games he played, I'll take it back since week 3. New England, Buffalo, KC, Tampa Bay. If that ain't a hard schedule, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? Especially for that Raider team where you never know what to expect with the Raiders. So you just got to assume that they're probably going to be down. You know what I mean? Unless they have what we call an outer body experience.
Outer body.
You know what I mean? But his next game's coming up. Cleveland, the Chargers, Denver, then KC. But then it gets easier later in the year where it matters. And this is what we talk about the winter backs. Atlanta, Jets, Colts are good. Chargers again, Miami. You know what I mean? So he's not playing those heavy hitter games. He's playing those games where the Raiders could be up and they're using them a lot more.
And what was his last 2 outings point wise? The last bad. 2?
He got 5 this week and 21 last week.
Oh, well, so off that 21-point game, if you was going to try and get rid of him, that was the time. But you're not going to get nothing for him right now off a 5-point game. So there's no need for you to even try to shop him, bro.
There's no need. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
You could try and shop him, but, you ain't going to. The person you shopping him to, he's going to not want to do nothing for that.
Let's keep it in this division and go to KC and Denver. Hey, if you were banking on Mahomes, which I was, he let you down this week. 11 fantasy points, 15 for 23, 200 yards and a touchdown because they didn't need to throw it.
Yeah.
Clyde, 8 carries, 46 yards and a touchdown. His catches, he caught 1 ball for 17. Le'Veon Bell, 6 runs for 39 yards, 6.5 a carry. He's making this. He's there. You know what I mean? He didn't catch a ball. You got Tyreek Hill 6 for 51 and a touchdown. Kelsey 3 for 31. So it was quiet on that end because, like we said, the defense had 28 fantasy points in some leagues.
Yeah, you had a Sorensen with a pick six. You had a 100-yard kick return. And then, I mean, shout out to Robbie. You know, he's tapped in where he's tapped in at, and he told us on Saturday on the part 3 of the Switter Swerve that it was snowing out there. You know what I mean? So, I mean, even though Mahomes say he loved the snow and whatnot, man, fuck all that, bro. When it's snowing like that, you're not going to be slanging that motherfucker 40, 50 times.
Now when you play a bum team,
not when you play a bum team. Broncos, that's fucked up.
I mean, on that side, Drew Lock 24 for 40, 254. This wasn't his best team to play coming back, you know, off an injury, second game back. Phillip Lindsay 9 for 79.
Picked.
Melvin Gordon 17 for 68 and a touchdown.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? Gordon, he's back. You know, it's a timeshare over there, though, even though Gordon had 17 carries to Lindsay's 9. So it's not a timeshare, but, you know, it's enough to where, you know, it's just a situation. It's a little nervous. So maybe this is the time to move Gordon. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to get something for Gordon. He was able to come off a score and whatnot on this game, you know. But if Lindsay went out again this week,
no, yeah, I think he got banged up.
You know, so, and you know, we ain't heard nothing about the DUI to where, you know, he's gonna get any time. You know, it's still, you know, still feasible that, you know, that he might, you know, but still though, if Lindsay went down, this might be the time to get rid of Gordon. But you seen what he did in in Lindsay's absence though, the first 5 games, whatever it was. You know, so I don't know, bro.
I mean, it's nothing really to talk about on the Broncos side.
No,
Tim Patrick, 3 for 44. Noah Fant. You know, you still got a lot of people got to play him in certain situations, depending on, you know, what you're looking at a tight end. But there's other people to look at, and don't be afraid to run away from Fant. You know, basically, really just not depending on him. You know what I mean?
That's
not
what it is.
Just running,
and coming into this season, you know, he was on, you know, a lot of people on their sleeper radar, you know. Yeah. I mean, their whole offense was, because the way that Drew Lock played in at the end of the year last year, he was balling the fuck out. And what's my boy name, the wide receiver that got hurt this year? He was looking good last year. What's his name? Sutton and Fant, they were coming on strong last year, so everybody had high hopes for him. But, you know, the injury bug comes. Fuck the whole team up, bro.
For sure.
But they played the division with the Chiefs, though. Oh, wow. So, you know.
Ugly. Let's talk about the Chargers and the Jags. Chargers won 39-29. Hey, Herbert, man, beast, bro. He's going to, whoever got him in fantasy and you're able to ride him out. Look, I'm going to just tell y'all this. I got Mahomes in the league and Herbert. I'm putting Mahomes on the block. If I could get value enough to trade Mahomes and ride Herbert, you know what I mean?
So the highest bidder.
They brought Bell in. They brought Clyde in. You know, they got Clyde already. Come on. You know what I mean? All signs are pointing. You know, Mahomes is going to have them games, but the Chiefs are just really dominant. So unless they're playing a team that's as dominant or really give them a run, they might not be throwing as much as that you normally used to seeing. But anyway, back to the Chargers and the Jags, though. Herbert, 27 for 43, 347 yards, three touchdowns.
The running touchdown is what got me, though,
9
bro.
carries, 66, and a running touchdown.
The boy did like a jump pump and brought it down and still had to make a boy miss to get up in that motherfucker, though. You know? And then I heard on one of the little after shows where they said that he has a top 10 arm talent in the league as a rookie. That's just being able to put the ball on that line. You know what I mean? That's that cannon. Shout out to Don Cannon and DJ.
He got a cannon,
DJ
bro.
Drama. Oh, my
I ain't gonna lie. He got a cannon.
He puts it on the wire, though, bro.
Herbert got a cannon. Keenan Allen, 10 for 125. Gluten free. Gluten with the Jalen. Gluten.
Two niggas that eat healthy.
2 catches for 84 yards and a deep touchdown. You know what I mean? It was a nice one, too.
Hey, but he been finding Gluten, though. It's been a couple of games where Gluten had a 75-yarder and a 50-yarder, and here he is right now that he scored, you know?
I mean, that's what you're hoping for with him because the targets ain't really there.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that.
But he might start trusting him a lot more
for real though.
So it may be. Justin Jackson, 5 catches, 43 yards. Virgil Green caught 1 catch for 26 in a deep one. Hunter Henry with just 3 catches and 23 yards. He went out at the end of the game, but came back in. He's a bit disappointing. He's disappointing. You would have hoped some. He hasn't had no touchdowns like that. You know what I mean? Hunter Henry, if you're starting him, you probably kind of got to. You know what I mean?
Sick right now.
But he's not getting you those big games that you hope. And a lot of people ran and got Mike Williams this week. 1 catch for 4 yards. So that's something that definitely hurt him. On the rushing end, Herbert led him in yards, but Kelly with 12 rushes for 29 yards. He really didn't do nothing. They even had Joe Reed run for a touchdown. Justin Jackson wasn't efficient. So, with the run game over there, it's kind of up and down. On the Jaguars side, Minshew, 14 for 27, 173, and a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. You still playing Minshew in AOB?
No, I think I only played him one time, bro.
Who'd you play this week?
I played motherfucking Teddy Bridgewater in AOB this week. No, I played Jimmy Garoppolo. I played Teddy and Ashy on my mama. But this wasn't no Jimmy game, though. It wasn't. I mean, even though he threw 2 picks, I mean, once we get in that game, we're going to talk about that running game. He didn't have to throw the fucking ball on everything.
Minshew, Genshu, though, are you worried about him? He had 2 touchdowns, but 173.
I mean, if I would have started him this week, the game would have been over with. So, he would have done the job for me. That's all I'm asking him to do is to do the job. To keep me putting up W's. He had 19 points, 17 points, and motherfucking Garoppolo only had 8. And I went into tonight's game right here, nigga, with like a 20-something point lead, and the boy had Woods, and he was down by 20-something. So if I would have been able to throw another 9 points onto that 20-plus lead, he would have needed 30-plus out of Woods. And that's gonna put, if I win, that's gonna put me at 5-2. So I'm still in the midst. One move for a QB, and I got Miles Sanders coming back. I'm gonna be all right. Niggas was down on me, but we still fighting. We still right in the clinch of things. If I think my boy lost this week, I don't know what Shalupa Waibupi did this week. You know what I mean? But yeah, them the top 3 teams right there: Woodrow, Shalupa, and my boy. Them is just the rallies in the league, y'all.
Hey, the story of the game was James Robinson, 22 carries for 119 yards, 1 touchdown. On the receiving end, he caught a receiving touchdown, had 4 catches for 18 yards. Like James Robinson, man, I say go get him on the Swiver Swerve Part 3. Y'all can still go check that out on our YouTube page because that's a season-long episode. That was something to give you trade targets and what we think about players in the long term. Please go check out the Swiver Swerve episode. But
on Swiver Swerve, I was bringing up points of how James Robinson, his big games only came because of, he was able to score in them games, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking that it was like one game he didn't do nothing, or one game was mediocre, then one game was a boom game, then a mediocre, then a boom. You know what I mean? So that's my point that I was bringing up on him on Saturday on the Part 3 of the shit. But, here goes that boom game where he brought it. So, yeah, I definitely, eating crow on that one, man, on everything. James Robinson, that guy. And, shout out to how we was talking about Wood not having CMC and he hoping that Cuzzo drop motherfucking Mike Davis. The boy got Aaron Jones, CMC, and fucking the boy we just talking about, motherfucking James Robinson. On top of AR-12 and Tyler Lockett that hit for 100 points in 1 week. That's what it seemed like what the fuck he did. And we ain't got to that game yet, but
hitters.
He got them hitters. Shout out to the Carter 5 hitters. That's one of my favorite songs on that motherfucker too. But yeah, though. Woodrow, fucking Gerald Everett. I dropped this motherfucking
There
ass.
was nothing special about the receiving end on the Jags. Laviska Shenault, he had 3 catches for 44 yards, and he led them. So, James Robinson is the only one. DJ Chark only a catch in 26 for 26. You know what I mean? So it's not pretty over there unless it's James Robinson. I will say that. You know what I mean? Let's get into the Frisco and New England game. That was a good one.
That was a
because we beat their
great
ass.
one, huh? Hey, shout out to Damon Rotto and Koski, bro. That's a motherfucking a new a talk radio show, and they had Michael Irvin. So on my way pulling up to the studio, y'all, they had Irvin on there, right? And one of the boys asked him, "Is it okay to put the nail in the coffin into the motherfucking 20-year dynasty? Is that what the Niners did?" And they all said, "Yeah, bro. We put the nail in the coffin to that
my God.
dynasty."
That's
that
what
20.
Irvin said.
Oh my, he agreed with it. He agreed with it though, bro. That's what's so fucked up, bro. The way that Cam was throwing the ball in the ground, and the one interception where it was double coverage and he just flicked it out there on his 50-yarder pass. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And Cam is my guy too, bro. I was pulling tough for Cam going into this offseason.
Is Jeff Garcia affiliated with the Patriots in any way, or he's talking somewhere? Because he was talking bad about Cam dressing and how he looks.
For real, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was listening to the talk radio too, and he was talking about saying something about how Cam dressing, and that's not something you should be wearing when you're losing coming at the conference. I'm like, man, let Cam be Cam, bro. Y'all done had weeks off. Y'all went from Tom Brady to Cam Newton. If anybody had expectations off of those 1 or 2 games that happened, that was your fault. You know what I mean? I needed to see more, bro. The receiving core is boo-boo. You know what I mean?
They're terrible,
bro. He was 9 for 15, 98 yards, bro. Stidham, 6 for 10, 64 yards. The running backs we know over there, like,
if we can pull up a stat right now, I want to know in 7 games how many receiving touchdowns do they have? What receivers have touchdowns? On my mama. You know, it's not going to be – it's only going to be a handful of TDs, probably not even that to receivers on everything. Just the way that them receivers over there are playing. They're not playing with separation. They're not playing with anticipation. I mean, Cam's not able to, I don't know, bro. It's just not looking like – and that might be one of the reasons why Brady wanted to get the fuck up out of there. He's seeing the way that the franchise has been drafting these last couple of years. They took Harry over – DK, AJ Brown, motherfucking the boy we got on our team, Debo Samuel. So I just said N'Keal Harry was a first round pick. So nigga, AJ Brown, motherfucking DK, and motherfucking Debo all went after N'Keal Harry in the same fucking draft. They have never drafted a wide receiver to go to the Pro Bowl. Not that I can think of in the last 5 years. And we can probably go back 10 years. So, the Brady's like, man, I got to go, bro. You're not giving me nothing to win. You want me to make these fucking lemons in the lemonade, bro. And these motherfuckers ain't even yellow yet. They're still green on the tree, not even ready to pick.
They lemons are they clunkers. Them ones you get
for Craigslist
on my mama. You know what I mean? They got lemons over there.
And I just feel bad for my dog Cam that, and they was the only one to reach out to him. And, so he had to take that job, you know what I mean? And, fuck, it's not looking good. But they ain't practicing this day, full first week of practice, or last week was their full week of practice due to the COVID shit. You had a lot of motherfuckers opt out on the COVID shit over there. But, I'm trying to give these boys excuses. You don't give them, they got 6 Super Bowl rings in 20 years, bro. You can't make excuses for them.
Okay. On the flip side, the Niners, Jimmy G, 20 for 25, 277, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jeff Wilson, 17 for 112, 3 touchdowns, but he got hurt 2 times this game. You know what I mean? Hasty, 9 carries for 57 yards. He averaged 6.3 a carry. You know what I mean? Kyle, huge check. They had to throw everybody out there. It just continues to show you that any running back that you play on this team is going to produce if you know they're getting the majority of the carries.
Looking like the Shanahan of Denver.
Tevin Coleman will be back. You know what I mean? They're going to end up having to use him along with Hasty. You know what I mean? So it's next man up over there. Debo, 5 for 65. Ayuk was 6 for 115. Kittle 5 for 55. Well, it was just a game where you really can't really judge the fantasy performance off of it because they was up. We was up by so much. Shout out to the Niners. You see all the Niners shit we got
24-3, I think, at half or some shit like that.
It was pretty.
They outgained them like by 200 and something yards going into halftime. It was the most yards on the opposite spectrum of New England in like since nigga 98 or some shit like that, bro. They was able to get outgained, outscored, just they worst ass whooping at home in 22 years, bro. I heard that stat too, bro. I mean, like I said, them boys asked Michael Irvin, was it okay to put the nail in the coffin on their dynasty? Oh my mama. And the cold thing is they wasn't too. If they wouldn't have lost, I think they lost last week, right? No, they won last week. They beat. No, they lost to Denver. Denver kicked 8 field goals, 100 field goals in one game and beat their ass, I think.
Oh, you see that catch, Anthony
Miller?
Miller? I know they did not call that incomplete.
No,
that's a fumble, and he got it. That ain't incomplete. It's a fumble. He caught the ball.
Step,
two, three. Steps, he moving. He got the ball.
That's a catch.
It's a catch and a fumble. Shout out to the Bears.
Yeah, but just New England, bro. I mean, yeah, it's a wrap. They might be wanting to go get Trevor too. They're gonna need a whole lot more than Trevor too, though.
They gonna need something because they ain't doing it. Let's jump into the last game of the night, which is Arizona and Seattle. That was a great game. Man, if you missed that one, you missed a dandy. That motherfucker was, hey, from the beginning to the end, Russ, his deep ball is so beautiful, bro. I swear. 23 for 50, 388 for 3 touchdowns and 3 picks, which, you know, he doesn't do a lot of.
And he led the team in rushing.
84 yards with on the ground, 6 carries, because the big news is Chris Carson got hurt. Again.
That's fucked up, bro.
He get hurt. I don't have no shares of Carson, bro. He get hurt every time.
Hey, I've been rostering motherfucking
DJ Dallas.
No, motherfucking AB since like week 2, y'all. You know who else I've been rostering since like week 2? Is motherfucking Rashard Penny, bro. They need to hurry up and bring his motherfucking ass back. Oh, every day, because they can show use his ass.
Carson is gone. Carson stay hurt. High 15 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. You know, like we said, Carson went out early on the receiving end. Lockett with the big one after 2 games under 10 points in fantasy. He had 15 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and it was beautiful.
On 20 targets, though.
20
While everybody else had under 5 and under.
5 and under. DK, 5 targets, 2 for 23 yards. I will say this about DK, glass half full. They called the holding on David Moore, and DK would have scored the game-winning touchdown potentially, but they called it, and he got loose. It was beautiful.
That's how I feel about Clyde Edwards.
So, you know, DK, he did what Lockett did the last 2 games because it was a Lockett game. 20 targets is crazy. Russ knew. Did you see that deep ball he threw to Lockett? Just like whenever Russ just winds back and he just wind up and he throw it deep, you just know something beautiful on the other end is coming. Like, it just happens like that every time, bro. That game was very enjoyable. On the flip side, Kyler Murray helped me win a fantasy matchup for sure because Allen Robinson ain't doing shit. 34, Kyler Murray, 34 for 48, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns. On the ground, he had 14 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown.
Led the team. Both of them quarterbacks led the team in rushing, bro. That's crazy.
Kyler Murray is going to lead you to fantasy prominence, depending on how your team is rostered, barring injury, which is a big factor. But Kyler Murray, I continue to say, somebody asked me, I kept saying Kyler Murray's going to have a breakout game. And they're like, why? What do you mean a breakout game? He's been having 30s and whoop. I'm like, nah, that's normal for him. 27, 28 to 30-something is normal for Kyler Murray. He had 48 in our league with the bonus points and whatnot. And he just continues to show you that no matter what, whether he's throwing the ball or running the ball, he's going to be effective. Like, he's going to be effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was a top 12 Russian performer. So my thing is, and I said that on a couple of shows as well, is that with his either he's going to get you the big yards on the passing and not have a dominant day on the rushing, or it's going to be one of them rushing games and his passing wasn't going to be great. But when he throws for 300 plus and then gives you that 64 yards and that touch, that's equal to that 48 points right there, bro. Accounted for 4 TDs, bro. Come on, man. That's
Kyler.
that kind of game that fucking Lamar Jackson was having all last year, bro. Even though I ain't saying that he's doing Lamar, but
That's what he doing. Lamar Jackson averaged 28 fantasy points a game last year.
Yeah. But to average 28 points a game, a lot of those was 30s and 40s and 50s on my mama, you know. And here go that 50 pointer, damn near 50 pointer. You know, that's a breakout, because what you're saying in his floor is that 27, 28, whatever it may be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's considered a breakout for sure.
Kyler's going crazy. D Hop was getting going early, 10 for 103 and a touchdown. I had Kyler and I was playing against D Hop. And I just was like, man, start double teaming his ass. They shut him down. But the big story was Kenyon Drake being hurt. He's out multiple weeks with a torn ligament in his ankle. Enter Chase Edmonds. 7 catches for 87 yards, 5 rushes for 58 yards. In my league, I've been holding on to Chase Edmonds. I drafted him, and I got him in a few leagues. I don't have Drake in none of those leagues. I had him except one, which was Dynasty. I told people, hold on to Edmonds. I kept telling the homies in the league, lottery ticket. Edmonds is a lottery ticket. If something were to happen to Drake, Edmonds is a lottery ticket. Shout out to Bow Wow. Go check the movie out, because the boy is a lottery ticket.
Man,
you know
I'm just
what I mean?
mad that they on a bye this week. I did it in for this week, bro.
Hey, it's
motherfucking.
ugly. But
you know, definitely, bro. You should have held on to him. You know, even before cuffing season, he was one of them guys that that's capable, even behind Drake. You know what I mean? That we seen him last year be able to come in and put up some numbers. You know, even during this year, he's then had some good games with Drake on the field. And now that Drake's down for a week or two, whatever it may be, you know, he's gonna be fired up as your RB2. Not even no flex, bro. I mean, just depends on who you got on your team. But not this week, but next week he will be more RB2, bro. You know, unless fucking Sanders come. Well, they'll probably sit Miles Sanders this week. Yeah, so next week on everything.
Yeah,
real talk.
You know, it's a bye week for them, and y'all better be prepared. We're gonna take an intermission, and then we're gonna come back with the second video with some wire talk and the week 8 matchups. Heart2Start Fantasy Podcast. We'll check y'all out in a minute.